On occasion, you may need to enter dates or even times into a sheet here in your Excel 2019 workbook. And in those cases, it's good to know they have their own formatting options, which we're going to explore with our Leaf and Mortar Revenues workbook. You can open up LM Revenues 0203 if you need to get caught up. Let's go to our title, click in cell A1, and let's change it slightly. Where it says Leaf and Mortar Revenues, click right in front of the R in Revenues and type Projected. And leave a space. Press enter, and we've updated our title. Now we want to put in the date that we projected these revenues. So in cell A2, if you're not already there, click there, and people type in dates different ways. You may like to use slashes or dashes. Maybe you do month, day, year, and I do day, month, year. Or maybe you use words, letters. Let's just type in a date one way and see what happens. Let's say we want to type in the 1st of November, 2018. Let's do it this way. 01 dash, type the short form NOV for November, a dash, and then we'll do 2018. That's one way to enter a date. Now press enter to lock that in, and let's see what happens. Well, it's changed. It's now 1-NOV-18. The 2 zeros gone. But click back in that cell, A2, and check out the formula bar. It appears as day, month, year, 11/1/2018, and we could have typed it in that way and got the same result. So what we type is not as important as how we format, and that can be done after the fact. So with cell A2 still selected, to change the way that date appears, we can go back to our number formatting group up here on the ribbon with the Home tab selected. Right now you'll see Custom. Click the drop down, and you'll see a couple of date preset options like short date. You can see that's going to display month, day, year with slashes the way it appears in the formula bar. Give it a click and it changes right here in cell A2. You may have noticed if you were looking, the column just got a little bit wider to accommodate the extra couple of digits. Dates are not going to overlap into empty cells like text does. The column is going to get as wide as it needs to get to accommodate the format we choose. We'll really see this happen when we go back to the drop down here in the number group and look at the long date. It's going to add the day of the week in there. The full spelling of November 1st, 2018. Go ahead and select it and look what happens to column A. It gets nice and wide to accommodate our date. Now, maybe you're thinking, I don't need the day of the week, but the rest looks good. There are more formats than those presets we saw. With cell A2 still selected, instead of going to the drop-down, let's go to the expansion arrow in the bottom right corner of the group here on the ribbon. Clicking this will actually open up the dialog for formatting cells. And automatically, because we're working with dates, the number tab is selected and the date category is selected on the category list. And you can see the current selection. Anything with an asterisk indicates that it's going to respond to changes in your regional date and time settings. So you may see asterisks next to different options than me, depending on your system settings. But it really doesn't matter. We can select from any of these. There's the slashes, just the day and the month without the year. Lots more options to choose from here than we saw from the drop-down list. And there's the one we're thinking of. There are some with times down there as well. If you want to insert times, you could do that too. But I'm thinking this one here, the type shows as March 14th, 2012. Selecting it will give us a sample up here of November 1st, 2018, how it's going to look. I like that better. Let's click OK. And you can see we've reformatted our date. It is right aligned, and we can change all of those things that we could apply to text and numbers here from the font group and the alignment group can also be applied to our date. So let's go to the left align button, moves it over to the left side of the cell. The column is still wider than it needs to be for that date based on the last format we selected, but that's okay. These are things we can adjust. Just click anywhere over here on your sheet to see what that looks like deselected. So while we can enter dates and even times, they all come with their own formatting as well. As you can see, they can also affect things like column widths. And if you look at our title here, which uses a larger font, this row height is a little bit bigger than the rest. These are things we can adjust manually as well to make our sheets more visually interesting in our workbooks. We'll talk more about that next.